Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay, Coriolis. Okay, okay. Yes, sir. I know that.
Have you heard about this Coriolis component of
Yes,
acceleration? What
I
is
guess
this?
a lot of us has also studied.
So, in which subject have you studied this?
Um, it was just a very brief topic. It was in geology.
Yeah, correct. So in geology you studied, and basically you studied in physics as well. But the 12th level physics, I think it's not there in the 12th level physics. So
Uh,
Coriolis component in geology you study because when our Earth, let's say it is rotating on its axis, right? And if the Earth atmosphere, which is surrounding it, that is also rotating with the Earth, the rotation of Earth, right? So basically in this case, whatever fluid, you can say whatever fluid or air which is surrounding the earth, okay, so it will experience a certain component of acceleration which is called Coriolis component of acceleration. So generally that's why you might have read it about this thing in geology as well. But
yeah,
let me,
wind currents and all also because of it
yeah,
are
yeah,
affected.
so let me give you a simple example. Like, have you seen your fan? So when the fan rotates, if you take out the blades of fan, right? So you will find that dust particles, they are actually deposited along the edges of this fan blades, right? So the reason for that is actually Coriolis component of acceleration. So what happens that when your fan is rotating, so the fan blades, they basically act as a rigid body, and the fluid, okay, so the fluid is in this case is air, right? So this air, when it passes over this fan blades, right? So definitely the air contain dust particles and all these things also. So when this air, it passes along the fan blades, that is over the surface of this fan blades, or you can say along the edges of these fan blades, so the dust particles which are present in the air, they actually experience a acceleration, right? And this acceleration is basically perpendicular to the edge of this fan blade, right? So because of that acceleration, you will find out that these dust particles are accelerated and they tend to deposit along the edges of fan blades, right? So this is a simple example of Coriolis component of acceleration. So let us say when you have take a lawn sprinkler, right? And if you accelerate your lawn sprinkler, right? So in that case also what happened, like if you accelerate your lawn sprinkler, so this fluid, right, it is basically passing through two nozzles into the lawn sprinkler, right? Now this nozzle is rotating and the fluid along with the nozzle, that is also rotating, but at the same time this fluid is sliding along the nozzle, right? So now in this case this fluid will act as a this nozzle will act as a rigid link, and this fluid is sliding over this. So the water jet in this case, it experiences a acceleration which is perpendicular to the, you can say perpendicular to the nozzle, right? So now this acceleration is generally called as Coriolis component of acceleration, and this is given by generally 2 then velocity of the water jet v multiplied by angular velocity of the this one, the sprinkler, right? So the right now let us not go into very depth, because in the last session I tried to discuss, but then I think like this is not the appropriate time, because you might not have read about all these things, right? So let us start today's session. So basically in today's session, again, I am going to take this conservation of angular momentum problem. Okay. So let us again take the case of a lawn sprinkler, but let us simplify this case. Let's not make it too much complex. So we have a lawn sprinkler like this. Okay. So this is our tap. Now over this tap, two nozzles are connected. Now this is rotating, let us say, with a constant angular velocity omega, right? So in this case, I am assuming this omega is constant, right? So that means if I attach a frame of reference small xy, so this xy is nothing. Xy is inertial frame of reference. So I am assuming that this is non-accelerating in nature. Okay. So this is non-accelerating. There is no acceleration. This angular velocity is constant, and that's why if you, let's say, consider any point on this nozzle, so the tangential velocity, that is also going to remain constant, because we know that v will
हाँ
be, right, multiplied
की
by,
मम्मी मारा तो दो
right. So now let us and try to understand this. Now let us say ve is the velocity. Ve, let us say the v is the velocity at which water jet escapes the nozzle, right, or exits the nozzle, right? So v is the velocity at which this water jet, the water jet, it will come here. Now it will be equally divided into these two portions. So one stream of water jet will go along this direction, another stream will go along this direction, and now let us say that the water jet, they are exiting these two nozzles. So let me call this as nozzle A and nozzle B with the velocity VE, right? Now, now let us try to apply this conservation of angular momentum, the Reynolds transport theorem for conservation of angular momentum in this case. So let me write down this in a very simple way. So now this is sigma m, right? Now triple integration over the whole control volume, delta by delta t. Then you have, in this case, rho r cross v r, right, dv, plus integration control surface, then rho, again this is r cross vr, okay, vr vector dot n vector ta. So actually I would like to correct here. So in this case we will take vr only, relative velocity, because this control volume, or you can say this in sprinkler, it is rotating at a constant angular velocity omega. So let me assume a control volume like this, right? So now I will take my control volume like this. So the sprinkler plus the water jet, or you can simply say the water jet which is contained in the sprinkler, that is going to constitute our control volume. So our control volume in this case, it is inertial or non-inertial? So just tell me whether our control volume is inertial in this case or non-inertial.
non-inertial
No, 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 no.
Inertial.
Inertial in nature, because why? Because we are taking this xy frame of reference which is attached to this control volume as inertial frame of reference, and this is rotating at a constant angular velocity. So just remember that it is non-accelerating. The control volume in this case is non-accelerating. So I have taken this just to make this problem simple. Otherwise, you can take it accelerating also. So if you take it accelerating, then if you remember in the last session, we discussed a lot of things. So Coriolis component, centripetal acceleration, many things will come out. So if you see here, then in this case, the term on this, the left-hand side, it will be only sigma m, right? Correct. And if you take the, let's say, non-inertial frame of reference, then it will be minus something dm into a relative, something like that. But let us not go into that. So now this will be my Reynolds transport theorem. Now let us try to apply this. So first of all, I am taking, let's say this portion, right? So I am taking this portion of the control volume, this side of the right control volume. So I will tell you, because see these two, nozzle A and nozzle B, they are symmetrical about this pivot point O. Let me call this point as O. So at this point they are symmetrical, right? So I will be considering, let us say first of all, this side of this the sprinkler, which is basically the nozzle B, right? So now for nozzle B, let us say for nozzle B, okay, so just tell me quickly, what is R vector? R vector is simply, if I consider a radius R here, if I consider a radius, let us say capital R here. So what is R vector? So see, I am just interested when this water it is exiting the nozzle. So that's why I am interested at the maximum radius, that is here, right? So you can take this radius anywhere here as well, somewhere here. But let us go to this zone or this radius, because this is our area of interest where this water is exiting the nozzle, right? So R vector is simply, just tell me in this case, capital R and magnitude, then multiplied by what? Here it should be I cap, J cap, what? So see this diagram. So R vector is along
I
this
gap.
direction,
I cap.
I cap, right? Now just tell me what about VR vector. So VR vector is simply magnitude of VR vector. Now just tell me where will be this VR vector, along I cap or J cap. See, water is exiting this nozzle, right, with a velocity VE, right? So VR will be, first of all, VR will be simply, okay, exit velocity of water jet relative to the nozzle or a sprinkler, you can say. So this will be simply VE minus, if this radius is R and this is rotating with the angular velocity omega. So what is the angular velocity of control volume? So let me call this as VCV, right? So VCV, what is VCV here?
Omega R.
Right. So now this will be nothing. This will be simply R omega. Right. So this will be simply R omega. You all know that tangential velocity of this control volume, right, or the velocity of this control volume in this vertical direction. If you let us say talk at a particular moment of time. So let's say when this is horizontal. So this VR, it will be in directly upward direction along the y direction. Right. So VR is simply VE minus VCV. So what is VCV? VCV is simply the tangential velocity of this, okay, nozzle. So this is simply R omega, right? Now just tell me, here it should be I cap or J cap. So relative velocity of water jet with respect to this nozzle. So VE is in vertical upward direction, VCV it is in vertically upward direction. So VR will be simply in the y direction only, right? Vertically upward direction. So now this VR vector is VR J cap. Now let us apply this. So first of all, what should be the value of this? Okay, let us think about this. So this I am taking as 0. So I am assuming that VR is invariant with respect to time. So that means this velocity of water jet, okay, relative to the control volume, that is VE minus R omega, that is not going to change with respect to time. This is a very important assumption. Always remember. So this is invariant with time. Okay. So this term is going to 0. So basically this is the local term. If you remember that this is a local term which is reducing to 0, and this is the convective term. So because the momentum which you observe in case of fluid, it is basically arising due to convection. If you observe this very carefully, right? So now coming to this term. So let us first calculate this R cross VR, then we will go to this, right? VR vector dot n vector. Okay. So now, first of all, tell me what is R cross VR in this case. So simply R I cap cross VR J cap, right? So this is simply R VR multiplied by I cap cross J cap, and this is R VR k cap. So I cap j cap is simply I cap cross j cap is modulus of I cap, right? Then modulus of j cap, then this will be, since I and j they are at 90 degrees, so it is sine 90, right? So this is very easy. So we will have r vr and then I j, and this is the direction basically which we use. So now r vr k cap, I cross j is equal to actually k cap. So this is simple mathematics. Now coming to this another term, which is vr vector dot n vector. So in this case, can anyone tell what is n vector? N vector, what is n vector? N vector क्या है इसमें? What is the n vector in this case? So n vector is a vector which is normal to the control surface, right? So this is your control surface. This is your control surface, right? So at this point, just tell me what is the n vector?
So n vector would be I cap at the point.
No, see, n vector
N
is a
vector is j cap.
j cap, which is normal to control surface. So n vector is simply j cap. So now let's go to this vr vector dot n vector. Generally, this is going to remain the same. There is not much difference into this, right? So whenever you have this vr vector dot n vector, so the point is that they act in the same direction only, right? So now this will be simply vr. Okay. So n vector, we know that that is unity vector, right? And n vector is equal to j cap. So if you do vr into j cap dot j cap, so this will be simply equal to vr. Now you repeat the same problem for nozzle B. Okay. So okay, then let me do it in this way. So let us say for nozzle B, sigma mb, right? Sigma mb, it will be simply equal to c rho. Now integration over the control surface, then r cross vr is r vr k cap, and then vr vector dot n vector, right? So this is simply equal to vr into dA. Okay. Now let us take these terms together. That is this rho vr dA. So let me take it outside only, because we are going at the let's say like maximum radius. So r is going to remain constant. So now this is rho r, right? Now vr square, or simply let me take this in this way, rho r vr. Okay, then you have a. Okay, so if you integrate this dA over the entire control surface, so right now I'm talking about this nozzle B, so it will be simply rho r vr into this one, right? A into vr. So this is nothing, this is your q. So this will be rho q r vr. So let me call this as okay, let us keep it as qa. Let me call this as qa. Right? So because we are talking about the light flow rate through this nozzle. Oh, I'm sorry, not qa, qb. Right? So it will be simply rho, right? qb rvr. So what is this qb? So qb is nothing. qb is flow rate of water through nozzle P. So I am going very slowly just for your better understanding. Then let us come to for nozzle A. So now just tell me quickly, for nozzle A, what will be R vector? Now I am going to this side. So what will be R vector?
Minus I cap.
Good, very good. So in this case, your R vector will be minus R I cap. And what is your VR vector? Here. What is your VR vector?
minus j cap.
Minus j cap.
Minus VR j cap. Very simple.
J cap.
What is your N vector?
Minus
Minus
j
j
cap.
cap.
Minus
J
j cap. Now, very carefully observe here that if, let us say, if you apply again the RTT theorem again, okay, in a similar way in a session, then actually you will get a similar equation, which is sigma ma. Then let us call this rho, then q, right? Rho q A R V R. So we will get a similar equation. So just try this out. So this will be again minus R minus VR. So again positive. Then this is R V R K cap. And again VR vector dot n vector. Again minus VR J cap dot minus J cap. So minus minus will become positive. This will be simply equal to VR. Right. So again you will get this term. Now I'm assuming, see, very important assumption. So it's total torque. So total moment which will be acting on the sprinkler, it will be simply sigma MA plus sigma MP. Right. So this will be the total moment which is going to act on the sprinkler. So this will be simply rho QA RVR plus rho QB RVR. Now let me make this assumption that QA, this is equal to QB. That means the flow rate in both the cases is same. So this will be simply, right? This will be simply 2 rho. Okay, let us denote this with Q dash, right? So this will be, I will come to this, why I'm denoting this with Q dash. So now QA is equal to QB is equal to Q dash. So this will be simply 2 times rho Q dash R VR. Okay. And if let us say the total discharge, right? So the total discharge of water at this tap. Okay. So at this tap, let us say this is QA, this is QB, and at this tap where the water is entering this control volume, that is equal to Q, capital Q. So you can call this here very easy. So Q will be simply 2 Q dash. So finally you can write down this one as sigma M is equal to rho Q R dr. Right. So this will be the net moment acting on the sprinkler. Right. So now where this Q always remember, Q is the total flow rate, right? So the flow rate through individual nozzles is Q dash, and Q is simply equal to 2 Q dash. That is the flow rate through nozzle A, flow rate through nozzle B. So what is this Q? So simply the water is entering the control volume at this particular point, and then this water is getting divided into the nozzle A and nozzle B. So if we assume that the surface within these nozzles, they are frictionless, then we can simply say that Q will be summation of QA plus QB. And in this case, QA that is equal to QB because the frictionless surfaces are present in the nozzle, right? So now in this case, you can say that Q will be simply 2QA or 2QB. And if we assume this QA at QB is equal to Q dash, so simply this will be 2Q dash. So I have done nothing. So I have just put down these values here, and finally I have arrived at this equation. So this, first of all, now then let me simplify this. So this will be simply rho QR, then VR is simply VE minus R omega. So this is the final relation. Right? Okay, so let me first ask, like, is there any doubt into this one till now?
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, here we have taken the question for inertial frame of reference. So suppose if we have accelerating frame of reference, then we cannot take the first term as 0, right?
Right. So no, in accelerating frame of reference, see, if you assume that this VR, generally, usually, you are correct that in accelerating frame of reference, you cannot take this term as 0. But sometimes they say that, okay, if this relative velocity, that is VR, with respect to time, it is changing very negligibly. So they can assume it 0. Means generally, uh, during to simplify our analysis, we assume it as 0, even if this frame is, let's say, non-accelerating. But you are right that it should not be considered as 0 if the frame is non-accelerating. Right. So it basically depends upon this VR vector, relative velocity vector. Right. So definitely, if it is accelerating in nature, so this omega that will be continuously changing, and this VR vector, that is VE minus, if let's say R omega. So it will be something like this, V minus R d omega by dt. So you are right. So in that case, we cannot consider basically this as uh, 0, right? So anything else?
Okay.
Sir, while solving numericals, we can use these results directly, or do we need to
You
go
can
through
use the
this whole
results
process?
directly. No. For results, you can use directly. So I am coming to that. So see, this is just for your understanding, because I just wanted to show you that how to apply the RTT theorem, right? So I hope now this is clear to all of you, but you don't need to do this complete analysis, right? Let's say now let us take this problem. Let us take this problem and let us think about this, that if I have to solve it in a very simple way, alternative approach, right? So this is, we solved it through RTT theorem. And let's say if I'm directly interested to apply this one, the change in momentum concept, right? So see, so in that case, let us say, let me first talk about sigma mb, then we will go to sigma m. So alternative approach is what? We know that change in momentum is, right, final momentum minus initial momentum, right? So what, or you can say the final momentum means the momentum of water when it is entering at this particular point, right? Right. Sorry, this is the initial momentum. So the momentum of water when it is entering at this particular point, right? And the momentum of water, final momentum is the momentum of water when it is exiting the nozzle, right? So this is very simple. So what will be the final momentum? We know that the formula for angular momentum is what? If you simply take m r v, forget everything, right? So this is a simple formula, right? MRV. So I'm not going to for the vectorial term or this thing. So I am assuming that R and V both are acting in the same direction, right? So let me call this as MRV. Then in this case, just tell me quickly. So what is M? M is nothing. M is rho Q P, right? So this is density. This is volume flow rate. R is what? Capital R. And what is V? V is nothing. V is simply VR, that is VE minus R omega, right? So this will be your final momentum. And what is the initial momentum? Initial momentum in this case is, just tell me, what will be the initial momentum? Here it will be 0, right? Because water is coming from a direction which is perpendicular to the plane of this PowerPoint presentation. And we are analyzing everything into the plane of this PowerPoint presentation, right? So if water is coming from a direction which is perpendicular to this plane, so initial momentum we will take is 0. So this will be simply this equation. Now let us go to sigma MA, right? So sigma MA is again rho Q. Let me call this as Q dash only, right? So I'm assuming that QA is equal to QB is equal to Q dash. So let me call this as quickly. So again, this is simply rho Q dash R V minus R omega, nothing else, minus 0. So you can simply calculate that of sigma M equal to sigma MA plus MB. So that is simply equal to rho Q R VE minus R omega. So is it clear? Is it clear to all of you? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So you can directly apply. You don't need to do this I cap J cap. And see, I have divided it into two separate portions. You can do it simply by taking, let's say, the entire control surface also. So in that case, what you will do? So you will consider this as control surface 1, right? And then across this control surface, nothing is going on. So directly take the another control surface. That means this one, that is 2. So this is nothing. The analysis which I am doing, this is for control surface 2 and this is for control surface 1. So you can directly apply this here as well. So I have breakdown into two parts for simplicity. Otherwise you can directly add it here and you can directly write down rho QR here. So now let us go to the numerical part, right? So if you remember in the last session, we took up a numerical. So now let me take that numerical again, and then now I am going slightly faster. If you have any doubt, then just interrupt me. Okay. So if you remember in the last session, I took again the case of a lawn sprinkler like this. So now this is your lawn sprinkler. So now this is your nozzle A, and this is inclined with the vertical at an angle of 30 degree. Now this is your nozzle B. This is inclined with the vertical at an angle of 45 degree. And now this is rotating with omega. So now this is a lawn sprinkler which is given to you. So now let me write down quickly what are the things which are given to you. So nozzle dia is given, that is equal to 5 mm. Again, these distances are given. So I will come to this. So this is 0.15 meter and this is 0.2 meter. So these two distances are given, right? Now the tap, okay, the tap is supplying water to this sprinkler, okay, at a discharge rate of 6 liter per minute. So flow rate, so basically total flow rate is given. Q is 6 liters. So it will be 6 liters per minute, right? So let me quickly convert this liter into this meter cube. So this is nothing. This is simply 6 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter cube per minute. So this Q is given to you. Now the question is calculate this net torque, okay, net torque acting on the sprinkler, right, when it is held stationary. So definitely when it is going to held stationary, that means you are going to use some external source or external moment to stop this sprinkler. So let's say if I am stopping this sprinkler using my hand, so there will be a net torque which will be acting on my hand, right? So we have to calculate that torque. So this is our first question, and next is sigma m, or you can say simply, sorry, at what angular velocity, this is very important, right, the sprinkler will rotate freely. So let us quickly analyze this problem, right? So let us first go to the first part, right? So let us quickly analyze this solution. So first of all, when this sprinkler is held stationary, so let me write down, first of all, we will write down the net torque created by the nozzle A, then we will go to the net torque created by the nozzle B. So now for nozzle A, simply it will be rho Q, directly apply the formula, no need to think about this. So for nozzle A, we know that is simply rho Q, right? Then you have R, then you have VE minus R omega. So this is the formula, we know that, right? Now just tell me for nozzle A, rho is simply, this is water, so this will be 1000. What will be Q? Now always remember that this is basically Q dash. When you take separate nozzles, so don't confuse it with the total flow rate. Always keep this thing in mind. Okay, so in this case Q dash will be, if I assume that, okay, the water, it is divided equally between the two nozzles A and B, then let's say this is Q dash, this is Q dash, okay, and I am assuming this water which was coming at the central point, it was divided equally into the two nozzles A and B. So just tell me what will be the value of Q dash. So Q is given, total flow rate is given, right?
Then it would be 3, sir, if we are assuming that it would be equal.
It would be equal. I am assuming that these two are equally divided.
3.
So it will be simply
3 liters per minute, 3 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter cube per minute.
Per minute, but we are actually solving it. So this will be divided by 60, right? So T into 10 to the power minus 3 divided by 60, that is meter cube per second. Now what is R in this case?
0.15. R 5
Yeah.
meter. 5 meter.
No, R radius. So in this
Yes.
case, see, I have taken A
0.2.
on this side, B on this side. So this will be 0.2. Okay. So always don't actually get confused, let's say, with conventions that, okay, if you type A here, B here, so you got confused. Always remember that which side you are considering. I am considering this side of the nozzle. So this side, this radius is 0.2. And one more important thing, that in the initial problem, I consider these radius as equal, right? But here these two radiuses are different. So always remember, we can simply take separate portions and we can imply this formula rho q dash r v minus r omega. So it will be now r is 0.2. Now coming to this ve minus r omega, what will be the value of ve? So just tell me what will be the value of ve? How to calculate ve in this case? So first of all, let me call this ve something. Let's say like if the velocity of water jet, right? We are interested in the y direction, vertical direction. We don't care like in which direction it is going on, because we have this formula when the water jet was exiting the nozzle in the vertically upward direction, if you remember. So we are applying this formula, so we don't know care about what is going on in the x direction. So let us just try to figure out, because ultimately see, the x direction forces, always remember here, the x direction forces, they are not going to create any moment around this point, because they will pass through the central line of this sprinkler. So only the y direction forces, they are going to create the moment. So we will be interested in the y direction only, because the y direction force, that is perpendicular to this sprinkler. So that's why that force will only that force is going to create a moment around this central point, right? So that's why let me call this as the vertical component as ve dash. So ve now, okay, so ve is v, oh, I am sorry. So let me call this as, okay, ve dash only. So ve dash is equal to the velocity v in this direction, and what will be the velocity in vertical direction? V cos 30 degree. So if let's say I assume the velocity of water jet in this direction is v, so in the vertical direction, so let me call this as v only to avoid any confusion. So in the vertical direction, this ve is equal to simply v cos 30 degree. Now how to calculate this v? इसको बताओ मुझे, how to calculate this v? What is this v? How to calculate? How to find out this v?
Calculate v from q dash.
Yeah, very good. So we know that q dash is how much? 3 into 10 to power minus 3 meter cube, okay, divided by, let's say, 60.
Second. Yes.
So now q dash is provided to you. So this v will be simply what? Q dash divided by area. So what is the area here? Pi by 4. Now let us say the radius of this nozzle, that is nozzle dia. Sorry, the nozzle dia is given to you 5 mm. So it will be 5 into 10 to power minus 3. So is this clear? In a similar way, here also you can find out the velocity of water jet. So see, on both sides we are assuming this velocity of water jet, it is equal. So this is possible only when the surfaces are frictionless within this nozzle, right? So now this is assumption, remember, right? So now again, on this side you calculated this v as v cos 30 degree, and on this side what will be the value of this ve? On this side, let me call this. On this side, what will be the value of ve? It will be v
cos 45.
v cos 45.
Cos 45.
Considering in the y direction. So see, I am not considering any sign convention. Right? Don't care about sign convention right now, because ultimately this is v minus r omega. So just remember this formula. So here you don't need to consider any sign convention, because that will confuse you, right? Because if you take consider sign convention for, let's say, only v, then you need to take into account the sign convention for other one also, that is r, and then this the whole analysis which I showed you basically, right? So don't go with the sign convention, just assume that this v is nothing, this v is v cos 45 degree, right? So now here just put the value. So in this case, this is v cos 30 degree, because we are talking about, let's say, nozzle A. So this is simply calculate this value, then this will be simply v cos 30 degree, right? Then minus, now this is very important, r is again what? 0.2, and what is omega in this case? So I am talking about the first case, case 1. So what will be the omega value in this case? See, so in case 1 we are holding the sprinkler as stationary, so omega will be
Zero.
Zero.
Omega is 0 in this case, so this will be 0, right? And now you can very clearly observe that the relative velocity, that is this angular tangential velocity of this sprinkler, that is going to reduce to 0. So basically the relative velocity, that is equal to the absolute velocity of water jet, because there is no movement of the sprinkler, right? In a similar way you can calculate sigma b. Now for sigma b, just tell me that q dash, that is going to remain the same, but what about this r? What will be the value of r? This r here,
R would be 0.15.
0.15. And what will be the value of ve? Ve in this case is v cos 45 degree,
Yes, sir.
right? Clear? Minus, then again this term will be 0. Now total moment, total torque is equal to sigma ma
Plus MB.
So this is very simple. Now let's move to second one. Second one is slightly important. So let us talk about case 2. So case 2, sigma ma.
Sir, it would be same, no, sir. Rho Q dash R. Here, just we have to take the value
Q
of
dash r, right? Now ve minus r omega. Right? So first of all, very important thing I am going to tell you. See, in this question he is asking at what angular velocity the sprinkler is going to rotate freely. So first of all, when this water, it is entering this nozzle at this particular point, right? So see, there will be certain amount of friction. There will be certain amount of friction at this point. Remember, I'm not going to this one. I am considering the friction surfaces are frictionless within the nozzle, but there must be certain amount of friction at this central point, right? When the water is going to distribute itself. So in actual situation, think about this practically, that there will be friction there, and this friction basically it will cause or it will oppose the rotation of this lawn sprinkler. Am I correct? So if friction is there, so what will happen? This friction is going to oppose the rotation of this lawn sprinkler. So if it is going to oppose, so the lawn sprinkler, it will remain stationary for a certain duration of time. But what will happen after a certain time, the moment which is produced due to this nozzle, which are produced due to the nozzles A and B, that are going to overcome this torque due to friction, right? And at that particular moment of time, what is going to happen? At that particular moment of time, your sprinkler will start rotating freely. So always remember this torque which you are seeing here, right? So although I said like I am holding the sprinkler as stationary, so with using my hand, right? But even let's say if I am not holding my, let's say if you go to actual situation, so let's say even if I am not holding the sprinkler with my hand, but still if you leave it freely, still for some moment of time there must be this friction torque. So in the initial duration, there will be this friction torque, and this friction torque, it will oppose the motion of this sprinkler, right? But once the external the moment which produced due to this one, the moment produced due to the nozzles A and B, it overcomes this friction torque. So this sprinkler, it starts rotating freely. So now let us see this in this case, what is going to happen. So first of all, sigma ma dash is simply rho 1000 multiplied by q dash. So q dash is again, right, 3 into 10 to the power minus 3 divided by 60, right, into r. So I am talking about nozzle A, so it will be 0.2 multiplied by then VE. So what is V in this case? Again, E is same, that is V cos 30 degree. Now what is R omega here? Shall I keep this as 0 here also?
No, sir.
So now remember, now this nozzle is free to rotate, right? So the sprinkler is rotating freely, right? So there is no movement which is actually opposing the motion of this one, this is sprinkler, right? So now this is V cos 30 degree minus, now let me take it 0.2 into omega. Now come to this sigma MB. Sigma MB will be simply again 1000 into 3 into 10 to the power minus 3 divided by 60 into 0.15 multiplied by V minus R omega. So this is V cos 45 degree minus 0.15 omega. Now what you have to find out, basically you have to find out this angular velocity at which the this no, sprinkler, it will start rotating freely. So that is very important. That's why I said that initially what is going to happen, initially the sprinkler, the friction present at the, let's say, central point, right, that is going to oppose the motion of this sprinkler. But what will happen after some time, when this sprinkler, it will start acquiring certain angular velocity. So after a particular angular velocity, the moment which is created due to the nozzles A and B, which is created basically due to the fluid flow of water jet through the nozzles A and B, right, it is going to overcome the friction torque, and in that case it will start rotating freely. So that's why we are interested to find out this omega. So now sigma m is equal to sigma ma plus sigma mb, correct? Now just tell me here, what will be the value of this sigma m in this case?
Equal to 0.
0.
This
Because
should
it
be
is
0
freely.
because this is rotating freely. So now just take these two values, add these two values, and find out the value of omega. So this is a very simple numerical problem, right? So now just remember that you don't need to actually go for so much complexity. You can directly apply this formula here, and you can find out the value of omega, right? So, and also in exam, also remember that you don't need to go for I cap, J cap. You just remember one thing, that is final momentum minus initial momentum. So let me take one more problem very quickly. Okay, just tell me one thing. Let's say if I do reverse the direction of this nozzle. So instead of this, let us say I make this nozzle like this. So can anyone tell in that case what will be, what is going to happen?
Sir, sigma m would be sigma ma minus sigma mb.
Yeah, very good. So in that case, this will be subtraction. So now if you see your second addition, in your second addition, I believe that there is a mistake. So this numerical problem is solved and it is there, but there is a mistake. I believe that there the author, he has taken actually a minus sign, which I believe it's not correct. Right. So just make that sign as plus sign there. Right. Minus sign will be the case when I think this nozzle will be in the opposite direction. Then you can say that it will create an anti-clockwise movement, and this is going to create a clockwise movement, or the moments created due to nozzles A and B, they will be in opposite direction. Then in that case you can subtract, but here this is addition, right? So just keep this in mind. So in book I think there is a slight mistake there. Now let me take another problem very quickly. So now I will not go to this RTT theorem. So I will tell you how to apply all these formulas directly. Okay, so this is also very interesting problem. So let me define this problem is like this. So let us say that a water jet, it is coming like this, and this water jet, it is basically striking a plate. So there is a plate like this. There is a plate like this. So this water jet is striking this plate. And remember, let me make this situation more complex. You can hold this plate stationary as well, but let us imagine that this is moving with a velocity of u. Right now, the water jet, it is coming with a velocity of v. The cross-sectional area of this liquid jet or water jet, it is, let us say, A. So this is the situation. This is your problem, right? So what I am actually interested is, I am interested to calculate the force on the moving plate. So what will be the net force that will be created on the moving plate? So now let us solve this and apply, let's say, this RTT theorem only. But let us not go for like too much complex scenarios, I cap, J cap, because that might confuse you. So let us talk about this thing directly. So now the net force, first of all, the net force, let us say, which is going to act on this moving plate. Let me consider two directions. So one will be the direction which is normal to this one, and one will be the direction which is tangential to this plate. So why I considered these two directions? Because actually what is going to happen, your water jet, it is going to come and it will strike this plate, and then what is going to happen, it will diverge like this. So that's why I actually consider two directions, one actually normal to the plate and another direction tangential to the plate, right? So now let me solve this thing quickly. Okay, so first of all, I'm assuming that this plate, it has a smooth frictionless surface, and due to that what is going to happen, due to that the water jet, it will actually escape this surface, or it will exit through this plate surface with the same velocity v. So this is assumption, very important assumption. This is however always not true, but let us assume that in actual situation it is not true, there will be always some change in velocity. So first of all, let me calculate the force along the normal direction. So force on moving plate, that is, let's say, divided into two ones. One is force on the normal direction and then force in the sliding direction. Okay, so let me call this angle as theta. So first of all, let us calculate the force in the normal direction. So just tell me quickly what will be the final momentum. Okay, so let us assume this control volume here, somewhat here. So let us say this is my control volume. So first of all, just tell me, this is my control volume. So what will be the final momentum? That means the momentum when this water jet, it is striking this plate in the normal direction. So just tell me, along the normal direction, what will be the final momentum?
Sir, rho.
Yeah,
Second.
correct. See, remember the formula for momentum. What is this? That is mass flow rate multiplied by velocity. This is a simple formula. Right? So now mass flow rate, if you have to represent, then it is density rho into q into velocity. So this is your simple formula. Now we don't care that this velocity will be relative or absolute, whatever. So generally it will depend upon whether your control volume is moving or stationary. So let us see this. Just tell me quickly. So in this case, what is going to happen? So let me write down this as, so first of all, final momentum along the normal direction. See, once this water jet, it strikes this surface. So once this water jet, it strikes this surface. So what happens? The velocity in the normal direction, that is going to reduce to zero. Why I am saying the velocity in the normal direction is going to reduce to zero? Can anyone guess?
Because the water jet is after hitting this plate, it is moving in the tangential direction, both the
Very
ends.
good, very good, right? So the water jet, after hitting this plate, it started flowing in this tangential direction. There is no flow in the normal direction. So the final velocity in this direction is zero. There is no velocity in this direction. So that means VR is equal to V minus U. So why I am saying VR minus V equal to V minus U? So let us say this plate is also moving with certain velocity U, and the velocity of water jet is V. So relative velocity of water jet with respect to this one, that is simply equal to V minus U, right? So now VR is equal to V minus U, but once this water jet strikes this surface, so it basically acquires the velocity of that plate. So if you talk about the normal direction, so it will simply acquire the velocity of that plate in the normal direction, that is V becomes equal to U. So this term becomes basically zero. So final momentum is nothing, it is simply equal to zero. Then what is initial momentum in the n direction? Remember, we are talking about n direction. So this is simply very easy. So this is very easy. This is simply rho Q